Imagine having a roommate from hell, just the worst roommate ever, but there's no end in sight because that roommate is never moving out because she's your mother-in-law. That is Sherry's existence right now, and she is wondering, how do I reconcile this when all she does is create tension in our home? She's straining my marriage, and there's no end in sight. She's not moving out. And whenever I try to have my husband help me, my mother-in-law does the exact same reaction. Whenever we confront her, she cries, she gets really emotional, and then she flees for days, ghosting us, not letting us know where she is, to the point where my husband's so worried about her. And then she'll call days later, crying, telling my husband she can't eat, she can't sleep, she doesn't know what to do, she just can't function because we're not okay. And then I feel pressure to make it okay so she can come back home, and the cycle repeats again and again. Well, this all went to a head or boiled to a head when Sherry's mother-in-law actually called Sherry's mom, and Sherry's pregnant with her second kid, called Sherry's mom and said, I don't think your daughter is capable of being a good wife or a good mother. So Sherry tried again to calmly talk to her mother-in-law, talk through her concerns, and her mother-in-law did the same thing, fled, then finally called her husband 3 days later, and she's just like, I'm so sick of this. She has tried to distance herself from her mother-in-law, so it's low contact in their home, which, gosh, that would be so hard for me. And her husband said, I don't know if I can be with someone who holds a grudge. Like, I understand my mom's difficult, but like ignoring her or going no contact, not really my thing. Her husband has tried to set up a meeting for all of them to try to work through their differences and try to get on the same page, to which her mother-in-law fled the state for a month so the conversation couldn't happen. It's just a mess. And so she's just like, yeah, how do I reconcile this when nothing's going to change? I'm going to give it to you straight, Sherry. If this were me and my husband, I would know that this only ends in one or two ways. Either I keep getting smaller and smaller in my own marriage, resent my husband profusely, and we end up just hating each other and staying married, or we end up divorced, because there's no way in heck this ends up in a good way. So for me, I would go back to my husband. I would acknowledge that this is really painful for him. You can see it. And I'm your wife. This is our marriage, and she's ruining everything. So if you can't set and hold boundaries with me as a team, we need to go to couples counseling. I would recognize that I am probably the only emotional adult in the room, and I would take charge. That is what I would do. What would you guys do?